You don't need calm. You need control. In moments of stress, people say they want peace. But peace is not something you can force. Peace is the byproduct of mastery. When your mind is racing and your heart is pounding, you can't tell yourself to calm down and expect it to work. Your body is in command. To regain control, you must learn to speak to your nervous system in its own language. Breath. The way you breathe is the steering wheel for your entire state. Most of us have lost this connection, and so we feel lost when emotions surge. Modern life overloads us. We are bombarded with notifications, deadlines, traffic, news, and constant social pressure. Our nervous systems are stuck in a low-grade fight-or-flight state. This chronic stress manifests as restlessness, anxiety, irritability, muscle tension, and exhaustion. We look for quick fixes, scrolling through our phones, eating junk food, binge-watching. But these only numb us. They don't reset the system. We forget that relief is literally under our nose. Breathing is the most accessible tool we have, yet it's the one we ignore the most. Science backs up what ancient warriors and monks discovered intuitively. Controlled breathing can change your physiology within minutes. Studies show that extending your exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which slows your heart rate and lowers blood pressure. Researchers at Stanford found that just 5 minutes of deliberate breathing with longer exhalations improved mood more than mindfulness meditation. Another guide on calming techniques recommends inhaling for 4 seconds and exhaling for 6 or more to signal your body to relax. This simple ratio, longer out than in, communicates safety to your brain. There are many breathing patterns, but the Viking method we will practice is 4-2-6. You inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breath gently for 2 seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. The long exhalation tells your body that there is no danger. The brief hold builds awareness. This pattern is especially effective because it is simple enough to use anywhere, at your desk, in your car, before a difficult conversation, or in the middle of the night when thoughts race. You don't need equipment. You don't need special postures. You just need your lungs and your attention. Imagine a Viking warrior, moments before battle. He hears the clash of shields and the roar of enemies, but he doesn't charge blindly. He closes his eyes for a heartbeat, inhales deeply through his nose, holds that breath as he feels the weight of his axe, then exhales slowly through his mouth. In that breath, he gathers himself. He calms the chaos inside so that he can face the chaos outside. His breath is his anchor. It reminds him that he can't control the storm, but he can control how he meets it. We have lost that anchor because we have unlearned how to breathe. Many of us breathe shallowly into our chests, barely filling our lungs. This type of breathing keeps us in a state of alertness. When you breathe into your belly, your diaphragm moves downward, signaling safety. The 4-2-6 method encourages this diaphragmatic breathing. When you inhale for 4 seconds, imagine filling your belly and ribs. When you hold, for 2 seconds, feel the fullness. When you exhale, for 6 seconds, imagine emptying, not just your lungs, but your mind. Let go with each long breath. The protocol is straightforward. Sit or stand comfortably with your spine straight. Close your mouth gently and inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Let your belly expand. Hold for a count of 2, feeling the stillness. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Purse your lips slightly to control the airflow. Feel your shoulders soften as the breath leaves your body. Repeat this cycle for 3 minutes. That's about 15 rounds. Focus on the counting. If thoughts intrude, acknowledge them and return to the breath. This is your practice, your moment of control. The challenge: do this 3 times a day. Upon waking, before or after lunch, and before bed. Set a timer for 3 minutes and practice the 4-2-6 breathing. That's 9 minutes total out of your 24 hours. You can also use this technique whenever stress rises, before a meeting, after receiving bad news, while stuck in traffic. The more you practice, the more accessible it becomes. You will train your nervous system to switch from sympathetic, fight or flight, to parasympathetic, rest and digest, quickly. This isn't about avoiding stress. It's about mastering your response. You may notice discomfort at first. Breathing slowly can make you feel like you're not getting enough air. That's because you're not used to exhaling fully. Trust the process. The long exhale expels stale air and allows more oxygen in on the next inhale. The hold is not about suffocation. It's about awareness. If counting makes you anxious, try whispering the counts or tapping your fingers. Over time, your body will learn to settle into the rhythm. Your mind will begin to associate the pattern with safety. There are mental benefits beyond calm. Controlled breathing improves focus. When you count your breath, you anchor your attention to a single thread. This prevents your mind from spiraling into worries. As your mind learns to follow the breath, distractions lose their grip. This makes you more effective at work and more present with loved ones. It also improves self-control because you become accustomed to inserting a pause between impulse and action. The Vikings, who controlled their breathing, didn't just control their fear. They controlled their impulses to panic or act rashly. The 4-2-6 method can also improve sleep quality. Practicing it before bed signals to your body that it's time to wind down instead of scrolling on your phone. Until your eyes burn, lie down and breathe. Let your exhale soften the muscles in your face. Let your tongue drop from the roof of your mouth. Imagine each exhale as a wave washing away the day. Studies show that reducing blue light and extending exhalations both help melatonin release. Combine these habits and you create a powerful sleep ritual. Breathing practices have a long history across cultures. Yogis have pranayama. Monks chant and count beads. Soldiers use box breathing. The Viking method we're teaching you today is not exclusive to Scandinavia. It is a simple ratio that appears in many traditions because it works. The difference lies in the story you tell yourself while you breathe. When you imagine yourself as a warrior regaining control, you tap into a lineage of resilience. You see yourself as part of a chain of humans who used breath to face storms, whether on a ship or in a boardroom. Your environment affects your breath. Slouching compresses your diaphragm, making it harder to breathe deeply. Sitting hunched over your phone signals stress. Improving your posture helps your breath naturally deepen. Using natural light and spending time outside remind your body of its rhythms. The Vikings lived close to nature. They breathed cold air, sea air, forest air. They didn't live under fluorescent lights. When you can step outside and practice your 4-2-6 breathing in fresh air, feel the difference. It's important to note that breathing is not a cure-all. If you have trauma or clinical anxiety, breathing exercises are one part of a broader toolkit. But they're a powerful start because they restore a sense of agency. In a moment when you would otherwise feel helpless, you can choose to breathe differently. That choice changes your physiology, which changes your psychology. It's a virtuous cycle. The Vikings faced fear and uncertainty constantly. They couldn't control the sea or the enemy, but they could control their own bodies. That control gave them courage. Over the next week, as you practice, pay attention to how your body feels before and after a breathing session. Does your heart rate slow? Do your shoulders drop? Does your mind feel clearer? Keep a journal. Write down any patterns you notice. Times of day when you need it most. Triggers that cause shallow breathing. Positive changes in your mood or sleep. This awareness will help you refine your practice. You might discover that 3 minutes is not enough and extend it to 5. Or you might find that a shorter 1-minute session throughout the day keeps you balanced. There will be days when you forget to practice or when you dismiss it as too simple. Those are the days you need it most. Complexity is overrated. The most effective practices are often the simplest because they're the easiest to integrate. The Vikings didn't have apps or therapists. They had their breath and their will. Follow their example. The 4-2-6 method is free, always available, and backed by science and tradition. Use it, especially when you feel like you don't have time. Share this practice with others. Teach your child how to breathe through frustration. Show a friend how to calm their nerves before a presentation. Practice with your partner before bed. There is something bonding about breathing together. It synchronizes your rhythms and creates a shared state of calm. The Vikings sang together to synchronize rowing. You can breathe together to synchronize your minds. A calm household is a strong household. Your breath is also a diagnostic tool. Notice how you breathe when you're excited, sad, or angry. Shallow, rapid, stuck. The next time you catch yourself breathing quickly, use it as a cue. Slow down. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. This micro-intervention can prevent a small stress from becoming a full-blown reaction. Over time, you'll start noticing tension sooner and intercepting it with breath before it escalates. One of the most beautiful parts of breath work is that it teaches you patience. You can't rush a 6-second exhale. If you try, you'll feel uncomfortable. To succeed, you have to slow down and trust. This patience carries over into your life. You become less reactive because you're used to moving slower, more intentionally. When others are rushing, your steadiness stands out. You become the calm in the storm, like a Viking helmsman, steering through waves. Remember that progress is non-linear. Some days, your mind will wander during breathing. Some days, you'll feel more anxious after. That's okay. You are building a relationship with your body. Relationships take time. Stay committed. The Vikings didn't master their crafts in a day. They trained, failed, tried again. Consistency is more important than intensity. Even on days when you don't feel immediate relief, your nervous system is learning. Don't skip because it's not perfect. At the end of your week-long challenge, reflect. Did practicing 4-2-6 breathing 3 times a day change how you handle stress? Did it help you sleep? Did it make you more aware of your body? If so, keep going. If you struggled, adjust. Maybe try a different pattern, like 4-7-8 or box breathing. The point is not to find the perfect ratio, but to reclaim your power over your state. Once you taste that power, you'll never accept helplessness again. Declare your commitment below. Tell us that you will practice the Viking breathing method 3 times a day for the next 7 days. Share your challenges and your victories. Encourage others who are starting. Let's build a community of warriors who master their minds through their breath. You don't need calm, you need control. And control begins with the way you inhale and the way you exhale. Breathe like a Viking. When your exhale is longer than your inhale, something magical happens inside your body. You trigger the vagus nerve, the long nerve that wanders from your brain through your chest and into your abdomen. This nerve controls your parasympathetic response. When you lengthen your exhale, you send a direct message through the vagus nerve that you are safe. Your heart rate slows, your digestion resumes, and your mind clears. It's like turning a switch from high alert to rest. The 4-2-6 pattern is designed to flip that switch quickly. Consider how Vikings use their breath in harsh environments. When rowing through icy waters, they had to maintain rhythm, not just for speed, but for survival. If they breathed erratically, their muscles would tense and their rowing would falter. So they synchronized breath with stroke. Pull, breathe in, hold as the oar cuts water, exhale as the boat surges forward. In battle, their breathing became a battle cry. In the sauna and snow, they used alternating heat and cold to strengthen. Their nerves always guided by breath. Their control over breath meant control over fear. Emotions are intimately tied to breathing. Fear makes you gasp. Anger makes you breathe quickly and shallowly. Sadness can make you sigh. Joy often brings deeper, fuller breaths. By practicing 4-2-6, you reverse the flow. Instead of letting emotions dictate your breath, You dictate your emotions through breath. Feeling anxious? Slow your exhale. Feeling sluggish? Take deeper inhales. Your breath is both a mirror and a lever. Once you understand this, you're no longer at the mercy of your mood swings. There's a misconception that breathing techniques are only for yoga studios or spiritual retreats. The reality is that elite performers in every field use breathwork. Special forces soldiers practice controlled breathing before high-risk missions. Athletes use it to recover between plays. Surgeons take steady breaths to keep their hands from shaking. The Vikings of old used it to steel their nerves. Breathwork is not esoteric, it's practical. The difference is the story you attach to it. You can see it as woo-woo, or you can see it as sharpening your blade. It's also vital to respect the hold in 4-2-6 breathing. Those 2 seconds after the inhale teach you to be with yourself. In life, we rush from one thing to the next without pausing. The hold reminds you that there is power in stillness. It's a mini meditation. During that brief pause, notice the fullness inside you. Notice that you are sustained without needing to input anything. This awareness carries into your day. You start to value pauses between tasks, between messages, between commitments. Those pauses are where your life is processed. As you practice, you might experiment with visualizations. On the inhale, imagine drawing in strength, clarity, resilience. On the hold, imagine storing these qualities in your core. On the exhale, imagine releasing tension, doubt, and fear. These images can deepen the effect because the mind and body are connected. Vikings might have visualized fire filling their chests and ice cooling their nerves. You can find your own imagery that resonates with you. The key is to make the practice your own ritual. Breath also connects you to others. When people spend time together, their breathing can synchronize. This happens naturally when walking side by side or sitting in quiet conversation. Deliberately practicing 4-2-6 breathing with a partner or group can create a powerful sense of unity. Imagine a team gathering before a challenging project and breathing together. The room calms, hearts sink, focus sharpens. This is a modern version of Vikings rowing in unison, chanting to keep time. It's a reminder that you're not alone in your quest for control. Finally, remind yourself why you started. When the novelty wears off and the discipline kicks in, you might wonder if it's worth the effort. Return to your first breath. Recall a moment when stress overwhelmed you, when you felt helpless in the face of your own emotions. Then recall how 3 minutes of focused breathing gave you a sense of agency. That is why you keep going. You are not chasing calm for its own sake. You are mastering your internal world so that you can take on the external world with courage. Breathe like a Viking, and you will always return to shore.